So this is according to Variety. It says here, Charlemagne the God, comma, John Wick producer Basil Iwanix. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, sorry. New company, Southland Stories, sets Jonathan Majors' film True Threat as first project. What?
Yeah.
It says they have launched the two have launched a company called Southland Stories, a production company that focuses on Southern voices. I think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Their first project as producers will be True Threat, a revenge thriller starring Jonathan Majors. True Threat is scheduled to begin production this summer. It's one of several films in the pipeline as Southland Stories starts to ramp up its output. Directed and written by Gerard McMurray
Mm.
and produced by Alexis Garcia of Cat 5. True Threat follows a special forces operative out for vengeance after his teenage son is killed by gang members. The movie is among Major's first roles since he was it says convinced. Ah, they mean convicted. That is a funny typo. That is a really funny typo. Convinced and convicted are two very different words.
They don't have people at these companies who proofread anymore, right? They let them all go. Is that what this is?
That's
Because I
because
feel
that's
like
because
we
they
encounter
letting
this problem a lot
because they letting ChatGPT do it. You know what I'm saying?
from credible publications, no less.
That's what it says right there. The movie is among Major's first roles since he was convinced in 2023 of third degree A word and harassment. They mean convicted.
I feel like the Shade Room spell checks better than some of these.
Quote, films like True Threat are exactly why we created Southland Stories, says Charlemagne the God. It's vital to show that black creatives can thrive across all genres. Gerard McMurray and Jonathan Majors are extremely talented individuals. Films from Southland Stories will span all genres and focus on, quote, real life tales, quote unquote, as well as scripted narratives. Charlemagne, we know what they do. We don't need all that. All right. Got it. Uh it said that they have said their joint venture, oh, it's three people. I'm sorry. Okay, so I will read this. So it's Charlemagne, it's Iwanik, and uh Karen Kinney, who is also a producer,
Okay.
said the venture of Southland Stories was founded to, quote, spotlight bold, authentic stories often overlooked in mainstream media.
Well,
Oh,
this.
there's a lot more quotes here.
Okay. Are we gonna read all of them, or
No, I don't think we
I don't
need
think we
to.
need all of that. I think we get the gist of it,
Well,
right?
Charlemagne did say something we have said before.
Okay.
He says, I feel like we live in a country that's focused on a lot of the same stories.
Mm-hmm.
From where I come from, I just always felt like we didn't have our people. Nope, I he did not say our people. I'm sorry. Coming from where I come from, I just always felt like we didn't have people amplifying our voices, amplifying our stories
Okay.
the way that New York's did and the Los Angeles's did.
Interesting. I mean,
And end quote.
that's I can appreciate that. You know, trying to expand the stories. It is true we are not all the same. We all come from different walks of life, and
Right.
sometimes that means that where you're from, often where you're from impacts who you are and what your experiences are. So this is great. I like that Charlemagne is, in his mogul bag. I appreciate that about him. Charlemagne is not my favorite person. I think I've made that clear. But I do respect him very much in what he does. in the media
I know
space.
it's because you're such a Joe Budden fan. You know that's why you don't like Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? You picked a side.
So you say. So
I'm
uh
just putting you on the hot seat, messing around.
no, I know. But I think that this is I said this about Tyler Perry and 50 Cent. I think the more that we are building in the media space, in the entertainment space, I think the more represented we will be. So seeing Charlemagne get involved in something like this, and I know this is not his first production company, I think this is great. I think go ahead and expand the portfolio and create more jobs and create more spaces for people to tell their stories. And I love that. As far as the film goes that they're working on, I'm curious about it. I'm always curious about things until I know more. So,
Well, what we know is Jonathan Major's about to fuck up all the gang members.
yeah.
That's what's about to happen.
Which body you think he's going to use? The Creed body or the Magazine Dreams body?
They're not that different.
Sometimes when I'm really trying to go down like a funny little rabbit hole with you, you pull over.
Sorry,
It's okay.
my bad.
All good.
I thought you was gonna ask like the magazine dreams slash Creed body or the current very thin look that we have seen from him,
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
and
I
I
was
would
going to ask
imagine
that.
somewhere in the middle.
My next question would be, will the clothes be ironed or wrinkled?
They got to be wrinkled if you're fighting the gang members. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about this?
I think it's interesting. I like that they want to highlight our stories. I think it's interesting that it's a specific focus on Southern stories. Um, and I'm curious what that translates to. Um, I like the fact that they're saying that they're going to focus on real stuff. Um, and I think it's smart that they're going to include other creative, stuff as well, not just based on true story stuff, because that could get old quick. And you may not Hollywood may not like you highlighting too much real shit. So it's good that you're going to throw in a mix of, hey, we made this one up.
Yeah,
I do hope.
definitely.
Only thing I'm gonna say here, and I know you might be tired of me saying this person's name, but I just hope they don't pull a Jordan Peele and make everything about the black stroke.
Oh, do you think that? I know you don't like that Jordan Peele does that, but could it be that it's necessary for certain people to do that? Um, Not even necessary, but that's what they want to be doing. I mean, when people create, they create things that they want to create, right? Unless they're in some sort of partnership where they can't do that, right? But typically someone who's like writing something is going to create the thing that they want to make. Isn't there space for the people who want to center black stories solely do that, and space for those who want to expand and do things outside of that?
I don't have an issue with Jordan Peele or Charlemagne focusing on black stories. I think that's a great thing. My problem is in his creative, different quote unquote stories. Jordan Peele always wants to speak about the black struggle in some way. And I don't think that's necessary to stuff down our throat every film. If you have a horror movie, if, okay, if you're going to remake Candyman, Candyman did not need to be the mantle of a slave that's passed down from slave to slave or descendant to descendant. Candyman already had its own story. You didn't need to do that. That's my point. So
So
if you want to do that, that's
mhm.
okay, right? Like I have no beef with Get Out because that was the point of Get Out. That's okay, but then you made Us, which was supposed to be a horror movie, which wasn't. It was more like a thriller. And the movie was about black people, the way black people see themselves, the way black people should see themselves, and blackity black, 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 black. Okay, I wasn't even mad at that one. I thought it was a little bit overkill, but I wasn't even mad at that one. But then it just kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. This is not an ad. The Energizer Bunny didn't pay us, but I'm just saying there's a difference, in my opinion, between black stories and
Hmm.
force feeding you the black struggle every time I see something from you.
Okay, so is this more about like I don't know if we can say the P word, but
I don't know
the
what's the appeal.
the trauma porn of it all, like that's the part that you don't like, that
Oh,
is
go ahead.
focused it's focused on like the negative pieces of our experience or our ancestors' experience, as opposed to, for example, maybe this is not the best example because you did not care for the movie, but Sinners was more about having fun than about, like, yes, people got killed and whatnot, but it wasn't about like the bulk of the movie was about people having a good time, black people having a good time. It wasn't technically about what would come later. But I'm wondering if that's like, if Jordan Peele started making movies, and I know this is not the conversation we were having, but if Jordan Peele started making movies that were, I guess, more still about the black experience, but more like showing black people's existence in a lot of other different ways, like ways we excel, or us doing very normal regular things, positive things happening, not necessarily like we're taking it back to slavery or white supremacy, or you know what I mean. Would that would that kind of balance the scales?
Sure. I think there's a difference between showing, and this is my point about what I hope Charlemagne's company does not do, is there's a difference between highlighting, there's a difference between showing you an experience and
Hmm.
focusing on the black struggle, right? So
Yeah.
you could, okay, Fruitville Station is a great example of the black experience,
Hmm.
right? They showed us everything this kid went through and how he was taken out, I'll say, right?
Hmm.
That was the black experience,
Hmm.
which is a really fucked up version of the black experience, but that was the black experience.
Yeah.
Not the same thing as the black struggle being
Right.
force fed down your throat. And so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I
If you're
understand.
going to tell me a story about how, another great example is The Pursuit of Happiness. The Pursuit of Happiness is about the black struggle, right? It's about the black experience, excuse me. Not the same thing as force feeding the black struggle, right? Now, if at some point during the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, this would have become about all black people struggling the same way,
Hmm.
how because of slavery, we can never get to the equal footing in this country. It's like, okay, man, now you didn't took the movie somewhere else. It's unnecessary, is my point. And again, I'm okay with you doing that. It just doesn't need to be done every single film. Like, is this movie about aliens? Or is this movie about how black people are treated as aliens because they are looked at as some foreign, other, not human thing? It's like, all right, dog, like, everything don't gotta be about this. And so that's what I'm saying, right?
Hmm.
Charlemagne's company is saying they're going to focus on these types of stories, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So I'm just hoping
Yeah.
that part of that is not the force feeding of the struggle every time, because there's a difference. Mad Spike Lee movies show you the black experience. Not every Spike Lee movie shows you the black struggle.
Yes, that's true.
That's
That's
what I'm saying.
absolutely true. I understand. I just wanted to clarify, just not just for myself, but for anybody watching, so we get a better
Yeah,
understanding
I
of what
think
we're talking about.
highlighting black stories is a beautiful thing, is important, and gives us a sense of reality in the film industry, right? Like, because sometimes what happens is there are things that are supposed to be the experience or real life, but it's like, that's not how that would happen, right? If a black man was speeding and a cop pulled him over, it's very likely that that black man will die. There's a high percentage in this country that that black man will die. If in the movie the officer gives him a high five, he's like, "Hey man, high five. You know, you were going just a little bit over the speed limit, but you're an okay guy. You just keep on going, Bucko." That would be. Sometimes we see stuff like that, and we like, hell no, that
Yeah.
would never happen, right? So showing the reality and giving the duality of both as the film industry puts things out is important, I think. But if you take that scene and as the officer is walking towards the guy, you go all the way back to slavery and you go back to when, you know, uh the person watching over the field was making everyone nervous. It's like we didn't need this. And truly I'm okay with that in that film. But if every film you put out, you do that, it's like, all right, man, I don't want to watch this every time.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
It's
I get
like
what
it's like everybody knows somebody who got some kind of rhetoric, right? Is pushing some kind of rhetoric, whether that's like the Christian faith or the Muslim faith or some strict like Republican or democratic view. Every time they open their mouth, it's just like, well, the reason why this is happening is because the weak Democrats. You like, oh my god, nigga. I just said the price of eggs went up. I don't need a speech about the Democrats,
right.
right? That's what I'm saying. That's who Jordan Peele has become to me. And I would hope that that's not what Charlemagne and the Southland Stories Company are going to do as well. That's all I'm saying.
I hear
Because
you.
it gets to a point where even for me, when I hear Jordan Peele's name, I'm like, all right, here comes the bullshit. You know, just like the guy who sees some bacon on your plate and walks over and he's like, sister, sister, let me tell you, okay? And you're like, oh, here it comes. I know pork is bad. I shouldn't eat pork.
And I love
Muslims don't
bacon.
eat pork. Right. And you're just like, can I just eat my bacon, my nigga, please? I'm sorry. I won't even call you my nigga. Sir, may I please? Brother, can I just enjoy my bacon in peace?
I just start eating it right there in front of him.
But that's what I'm saying. And so to me, that's what Jordan Peele has become. And I feel like we don't need that every film. And I hope that that's not what happens with Charlemagne. That's what I'm saying.
Thou shalt not ruin my breakfast.
Exactly. Let's keep it moving.